Many folk come to see all these oddly dressed people.
For a good old-fashioned a good time with lots of pageantry, the revelry, the shows.
Oh, if anyone's going to consider coming out, they just need to come out and take a look. It'll just take one time.
I need to lubricate.
We're missing one salt.
The hunt is up, and it is well nigh day.
We come to try to recreate a tiny piece of history, maybe. We try to create the time period of Queen Elizabeth, 1558 to 1603.
And good Queen Bess is gone a-hunting to bring her dear to bay.
Within the period of Elizabeth I, you would do whatever your nobles told you to do, and whatever the Queen wished, because she was the supreme monarch and she knows best for the country.
The fairs of the period were fairly close approximation to this, although with the cleanliness a little easier, better. And I believe what people like about the Renaissance Fair is the fun that it is to just come and play and actually interact with those of us who do try to make it a real event, to bring a piece of history out. And the fairs of the time, there are some things here that look a little crazy, a little outlandish, but the fairs of the times, they actually did that. Try to bring a little life to their otherwise drab, lives of mucking around in the fields and such.
I was a competitive fencer for about 5 years, and I picked up the historical aspect as I went along and joined up with a Renaissance guild down in California, who didn't have any instruction in swordplay. So they automatically made me their researcher, and from that point, I built on historical texts, making them safe for partners and for audience enjoyment. There's a romance to it. There's a lot. The farther a society progresses, I think, in technology, the more they want to go back, be able to escape to the old days, where it was a lot simpler life. It was a lot shorter life. As far as the duels, the rapier had just become in vogue in that period. And the nobles all had to learn this new weapon, something they wouldn't have touched at an earlier age because it wasn't English. Suddenly now there was all the rage for knowledge, and this new weapon, they went overboard with it, to the point where they were getting rapiers so long that Queen Elizabeth said anyone entering London with a blade longer than, I think it was a yard, or 3 feet, they would have the blade broken off.
No, my heart is fast and cannot kiss and tango.
The Renaissance was the first sort of separation from strictly sacred music. They're some of the silliest songs that you've ever heard. And they're also very, there's a lot of sexual allusion in them, but mostly birds and bees.
Lots of love and heartbreak songs, a lot of heartbreak songs.
It's unrequited love. We're always drowning in our tears and sighing and weeping.
Sweet mistresses, how do you this day? Good morrow, good morrow.
We draw from an area all the way into British Columbia, down into California, and as far east as Colorado. Last year, our gate was about 25,000 for the weekend. We are projecting at least 30 or more thousand this year. The growth, it's unlimited.
They did joust in the medieval times to settle grudges, but by that time it was more of a sport. It was it was kind of the sport of kings. We're trying to educate the populace about what jousting was about back then and how it still can be, and it's really starting to pick up in popularity. The Renaissance Fair circuits have been growing and growing. And there's like 45 in California alone. I know you've got a couple up here in Oregon again. And so they're really starting to pick up, which means that there's more work for us to the people who are actually trying to keep this sport alive, because it died for almost 500 years. And no one was doing it. And now it's starting to come back, and people are enjoying it, and we're drawing big crowds to see it. With the invention of gunpowder, the actual war use of jousting was pretty much completely gone by the Elizabethan era. It was more of a sport by then. People would go around from town to town, and they would joust, and they would have tournaments, and that was kind of the entertainment for the masses. Bloody entertainment that it was.
Come to Shrewsbury Fair, let your inhibitions down, step back in time. Shrewsbury is good family entertainment for the very young all the way to the very old.
Jump into the fair.